All right. Let me just... Little nosy motherfucker right over there. I don't like doing videos outside because you come across too many nosy ass fucking people. Anyhow, let me just get to walking. As I stated on my last production, I'm going to be doing productions in some mixed formats. Some are going to be in the audio recordings that I do, the classic audio recordings with the music playing in the background and the slideshows substantiating talking points that I'm making. And then others are going to be in formation like this, or times when I use the Record Master app. But for the longest, I have been banging the drum, and maybe I need to really start to pop out more content. I apologize to all the brothers who would like to see me produce, and even some of the black women that want to see me produce more content that I have not been able to produce the way I want to. Time's being scarce for me. It's very little time I have in a day, and sometimes a little bit of time I have, by the time I'm finished doing everything that I got to do in a day, I'm so damn tired, my black ass is kicked, and I really just don't have anything left as far as making a production. Maybe I need to walk. Let me walk this way for a second. Nah, I'm gonna just go this way. So I don't have the time that I would like, the availability that I would like to be able to produce and crank out productions the way I would like to. And there's so much shit I'm so far behind on. As for instance, I gotta clear up some storage out of my laptop so I can make the audio recordings the way I want to. Okay.
Okay, in the stroller. If you're going to hit me, then you can't walk there.
Okay. We see the problem right there. We see the problem right there. If y'all can't see, all right, you know what? This right here is going to be, okay, this is going on in abundance out here. This is going on in abundance. And this message is going to be the black men. And listen, I'm going to most likely be doing something more in depth on this. But this is going to be my message to black men. Because I'm seeing a lot of stuff that really should not be happening. And I've been preaching for the longest how black men need to start establishing territory. Get more territorial. Let it be known where you stand. All right? When other people show up into your territory, they need to know that this is what they're dealing with. That they're in somebody else's territory, and they need to provide or give you the utmost respect. In the production that I did pertaining to let me just stop and take a little brief look at the water, let y'all get a view. In the production that I did pertaining to the physical altercation that had taken place between Shay Means and Tommy Sotomayor, get a little duck swimming around over there. I gave you some examples of some things that I've experienced while doing rideshare. And I made it perfectly clear on rules that have to be adhered to whenever you're in my environment. My car is my environment. My home is my environment. As for instance, my YouTube channel, that's my environment. I'm very territorial when it comes down to my environment. It's just that simple. I've given some examples on, while doing rideshare, people who wanted to question or challenge my rules, and how that is something that I will not stand for under any circumstances, ever. Ever. That is just, we can't even have a discussion when it comes down to that. And I establish these things because if you can't establish your own territory as a man. Let it be known when someone else is in your shit as a man that no, you come here and you show me the utmost respect. If you can't establish that, then nobody's going to take you seriously. And this is something that I want black men to thoroughly understand. You have to learn how to establish territory. I told black men, for example, I was going to walk underneath that tunnel, but you know what? I think I'm going to just keep going straight. I told black men, for example, that if you are the predominant group in a community, in any community that reside there, then yeah, people need to show you the utmost respect when they come there. When I say that, you don't let one of the baddest women, females, or girls within your community be able to just have somebody outside of your group just slide up in your neighborhood into your territory and be able to walk off with her right under your damn nose while you stand out there watching this shit take place right in front of you, and you don't say something about it. That's an issue. Now some might say, oh, that's a bit extreme. Well, what are you talking about? We don't do that. Okay. I can guarantee you, if you were to go into somebody else's community and think that you were going to get with the baddest, with the most physically desired females, women, I would say girls, and I'm talking about people of the same age of that group, then you are going to be met or challenged by the men of that group. That's just the way that's going to work. This is not something that they're going to tell you. This is just something that they're going to let their actions demonstrate this for you. Now, you can deny this, you can pretend as if this doesn't exist, but it actually does. So if this is what you believe you're going to do, no, the men of that group will confront you and let you know. Because as I've told y'all, people are territorial or tribal by nature. Men are tribal by nature when it comes down to their women. That's just what that is. So when I tell you brothers this, I'm not saying this so you could go out here and simp over no damn female, especially one that's not worthy of it. The bottom line is, you have to let it be known that, listen, the most desired in my group, even if I don't want her myself, I'm not about to let you as a stranger come up into my territory and think you can walk off with her and not be challenged. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Maybe I'll explain that in more into depth. But what I'm going to briefly touch base on, and I'm going to go into another, when I thoroughly cover the subject, I'm going to deal with this in the Record Master app. Because for the longest now, I've told you black men about a lot of these dating coaches. I've warned y'all about them. I've told you that, well, let me just say this much. I really didn't warn you about them, but I've told you that the information that you're getting out of them is not something that you really need to be focused on at this point in time right now. Because if you somehow successfully manage to get rid of these dating coaches, excuse me. If you manage to check these females that get online and espouse what they espouse about black men on a daily basis, you still would not solve that problem. The last production that I did, I showcased a female, a YouTuber who goes by the name of Chris Logic. All right. This is a female that's in her 20s, probably 25, no older than 26, I would say. Notice that they're getting younger and younger, and they're getting online and espousing the talking points that they're espousing about black men. Now, listening to this crazy female, she has admittedly said that she really hasn't had many bad experiences dealing with black men. And if that's the case, my question to Chris Logic would be this: if you had little to very little bad experiences dealing with black men, then why do you get online and espouse the bullshit that comes out of your mouth about us day in and day out? Why the hell do you do that? See, this is something that literally doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's also another one that I caught wind of, but I'm not going to mention her name here. She probably is in her late teens, maybe early 20s. These females are getting younger and younger. And they're getting online, popping up YouTube channels, talking about aborting black male babies. This is the narrative that they circulate around. This is just, this is just an example on how fucked up some of these individuals were. And like I told y'all, if y'all were successful at being able to get Cynthia G offline, Crystalline Charism offline, you would have 10 more ready to take their place. This is what I'm telling you. So essentially, verbally checking these females is a waste of time. Because the problem is you have a source that enables, and not only enables, but it rewards their fucked up behavior. And until you are willing to check that source and deal with that source, let me take a detour down here just. Until you are willing to deal with that, guess what? You're never gonna curb this problem. You're just gonna have a feel-good moment. That's all this is gonna be. So what I'm telling to you black men, a lot of y'all like listening to Kevin Samuels, and some of y'all get real pissed off when I critique his ass. Some of y'all get pissed. And quite frankly, I don't really give a shit whether you Negroes get upset or not. But the fact of the matter is this. Y'all love the guy because y'all love the way he can verbally check these females that call into his panel, these high sedity females that think they're the shit. Y'all love that. And what I'm saying is, even if you manage to bruise their ego briefly at that moment, you're still not going to solve the problem. Because the fact of the matter is she has an entire system that enables her to go out here and literally display, not only enable her, but once again reward her for showcasing the behaviors in which she does. And as long as that sticks in existence and in full operation, you're never going to solve this problem. So many of you find yourselves listening to dating coaches. And there was some talk about one in particular, I would say in the past maybe 2-3 months. I think this happened either late December or early January, where you had a dating coach and a white guy called into his panel. Clearly this is a blatant racist, and I'm saying this based off of what he was stating to this black man. And you had Cynthia G, I believe you had Chris Logic, and a host of other females who just could not wait, who were just foaming at the mouth. Tanya TKO, a bunch of them foaming at the goddamn mouth to go ahead and literally showcase, oh, see, he got checked by Zaddy. Ooh, see, another black man gets checked by Zaddy. This is literally the shit that's going on. So I'm not going to get into every single detail of what took place, not in this video. This is just to let you know what's coming down the pike. I don't know when I'm going to have this released, but I will be doing this, I would say, probably within the next week or so. I should have something up. But what we witnessed, and I think I'm going to just stop right over here. That's what I think I'm going to do. What we witnessed was, first I don't want to sit back and take the perspective of these divestors and listen to what they say and say, okay, take it at face value, because we know how intellectually dishonest they are. We know that these are disingenuous females who love to spew false propaganda and frivolous narratives that if you take a little bit of time to do some research, you'll realize that, okay, this still doesn't make any goddamn sense. Let me sit down at the stoop really fast. Oh, the turtle done ducked into the water. That's all right. I ain't going in there any goddamn way. But when I sat down and I took a look at this video, because I said, I don't want to draw any conclusions. Let me at least take a look at it. What I seen in this production, on this live stream that this brother was hosting, was a man who was being confronted by blatant racism. A black man being confronted by blatant racism. And the response that he gave was subpar. I mean, I'm just gonna have to call it for what it is. His response was embarrassing. And what I'm gonna say is I'm outright disgusted with some of the shit that I see taking place amongst you Negroes. And when I talk about establishing territory, letting it be known that there's certain things that cannot go on when you're in my presence. There's a level of disrespect that you would never exude to me. I don't give a fuck who you are. A lot of you black men just don't even understand where I'm coming from. You just don't have that mindset. You don't. And when I sat back and I looked at what took place on this guy's live stream and how he sat idly, allowing this white guy, a blatant racist asshole, to chastise him, not based off of the advice that he was giving or the dating advice, not based off of his perspectives, not based off of his outlook on life or his outlook on women, but he was chastising him, literally just giving him a verbal thrashing based off of his blackness. This is what he was doing. And you can tell that this is exactly what this was about, because the talking points that this guy used didn't even correlate or correspond with the original question that was asked and the answer that had been provided by this black man. So as I'm sitting back and I'm listening to this, I'm like, God, at any given time, you clearly are going to step in and shut this down. Now, for the record, I will make this perfectly clear. He did initially check this as this guy tried to get out of line the first time. But that was the first and the last time that he said or did anything about that action. Did nothing else. He sat back and let this happen. Now, some of y'all might say, well, and this is the reason why I'm not going to sit here and listen to a wannabe divestor's perspective, because the first thing they're going to want to do is project this man as weak and say, well, see, had that been a black woman, he would have had no problem going ahead and just checking her and getting disrespectful. He'd have, oh boy, here we go again. People are trying to fucking walk up on me as I'm sitting here making this goddamn, Jesus Christ. Nosy ass motherfuckers. I go to a secluded place and yet I got to turn around and there's people trying to fucking be all up in my goddamn face staring at you. Get the fuck out of here. Go on about your walk, man. Don't come following me. All right, so as I was saying, this wasn't a matter of, you know, if you leave it up to the wannabe divestors, they'll say, oh, had that been a black woman that would have called, he would have got aggressive and called all kinds of bitches and this, that, and the other. But when it's a white man, notice how he doesn't have that same level of aggression. I'm not going to go ahead and say that, because I haven't looked at any of this brother's content other than the one video that I've seen. Maybe this is just his personality. Maybe this is just who he is. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered had it been a man, woman, black, white, or other who had called in saying the same shit. Maybe his response would have been the same. I have no way, or there is no way to confirm or substantiate or deny that claim. This is why I wouldn't go as far as to making a frivolous claim like that. But once again, leave it to the divestors. This is what they're going to tell you, or the wannabe divestors, I should say. This is what they're going to tell you. And this is particularly my problem when it comes down to them. My critique of what I've seen with this brother is not whether he would have responded like that to a female, or would have been as passive to a female, or would have responded with aggression had it been a female. Because I have no way to prove this. If you could actually prove this, then fine, I will concede that point. My issue particularly with this black man is here he was in his own environment, in a space that he controlled. And some of y'all will say, well, it's just not his nature to get aggressive and be like that. Fine, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you can still shut things down. And what I seen in a situation where he clearly should have shut this shit down, either by checking this dude again, which he didn't. He just stayed there and remained quiet. And his facial expressions, well, you know what, I'm not going to go into any depth with this. I'll have to leave that for when I actually make my official production on this on the X Recorder app. That's what I'll do. But when I look at the way he responded, his passiveness, his just being docile. I'm sorry. I told y'all what territory is and how you establish a territory. I've given you a couple of examples. My home, that's my territory. You will not step foot in my home and disrespect me in my home. It's just that simple. It don't matter who the fuck you are. My car, that's my territory. You will not step foot in my car thinking that you can disrespect me. My YouTube channel, that's my territory. You will not go on my channel and think you're gonna run a fucking muck. Now, let me just go ahead and make this disclaimer. Because typically after I upload a video, I'll be interested in the comment thread for about the first maybe 3 to 5 days. After that, I lose complete interest in the comments, and typically I'm not even going to go back to that video to look at the comment thread. That's just the way I am. This is why a lot of you brothers leave me comments, and you might see my response within the first couple of days. After that, you ain't gonna get no response out of me. That's just what it is for me. I lose interest. So if somebody's running amok on a comment thread of one of my videos, I might not catch wind of it. But if I do catch wind of it, you best believe if I don't respond to it, I will go forth and block that channel. That's just the way I work. So meaning I don't have to necessarily get out of line. I don't have to stoop to your level. I don't have to do none of the above. Fact of the matter is this: if you're doing something that is outright disrespectful in my territory, once I catch wind of it, you will be checked. So when I sit back and I look at how this brother responded, his weak, passive, submissive response. I mean, this is just, once again, another example when it comes down to the image of black men. This is our image here. And when you're supposed to be laying the law down where people would know what they can and can't do, in many cases, a lot of you brothers are failing. A lot of you brothers are letting people get away with murder when you clearly have the means to establish your damn territory and you fail to do it. And with that being stated, a lot of y'all love listening to these damn dating coaches. A lot of y'all know the guys I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm going to do a more in-depth video of this down the line, probably within the next week or so. Y'all love to listen to these dating coaches, but how the hell are they supposed to teach you anything when it comes down to getting with women if you fail to even demand respect for yourself as a goddamn man? How are they supposed to sit up and give you advice when it comes down to what you're supposed to do with women? If you let somebody, a stranger, pull this shit when you could have easily muted his ass or booted his ass off the goddamn line, but you let him run his mouth and chastise you for 19 minutes straight. I don't know what else I can say behind that. But as I stated, I'm not going to go too much longer with this. I will have a more in-depth, detailed production of this down the line. So stick with me. And with that being stated, that's all I got to say in this video. And I'll catch you on a later date.